That'd be
Man, you only
great.
got 1 minute. Before Alicia goes.
He is the only one that brought his pen, though.
That didn't bring his pen?
That did.
Who is?
Jose.
Ron had his.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Look.
Call to order. Roll call.
Mayor Laura,
Present.
Vice Mayor Parsons,
Present.
Commissioner Lindbroker,
Present.
Commissioner Vasquez,
Present.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Brad Bennett. I'm pastor at First United Methodist Church and representing the Liberal Ministerial Alliance tonight. Thank you for bowing with me in a spirit of prayer. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you for today and for all your blessings. Thank you for the successful planning and outcoming of events and business ventures and infrastructure that's necessary for the good of all people in your city. We now and know that you are mindful, as we are, of the tremendous pressures and frequent demands on our commissioners, who provide governors among a variety of constituencies here in Liberal. We ask that you be present among our commissioners and city staff as they consider proposals and procedures and planning in this meeting. Help them make wise decisions for the good of all citizens who have placed their trust and confidence in their leadership, as well as this good earth we inhabit as a gift from you. We give you thanks. Keep us from all short-sightedness and pettiness, and remind us of your long view of life. All glory be to you, loving God. I pray now, as always, through the same Spirit who is in Jesus the Christ, your sacred breath of justice, love, and peace forevermore. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 1, awards, proclamations, and presentations.
nothing.
Seeing none, move on to item number 2, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Lindbroker and a second by Commissioner Vasquez.
Mayor, you can roll.
Okay. Everyone cast your vote. It didn't pop up. I vote aye.
Okay, I will.
Put that in.
I'll put it in.
Okay. 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 3, the minutes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the September 26, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Warren. All cast your vote. Okay, 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 4, items from citizens. Seeing none, we'll move on to items number 5, items from groups. Any items from groups? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Lindenbroker. Any further discussion? Cast your votes.
I didn't pop up this time.
Mine just barely popped up.
I just did.
There's an error, but I have 4 yeses.
Haven't seen it yet. I vote yes. So I made the motion.
I have 5
Yeah, 5?
submitted.
You must have hit it when.
Yeah, I must have had my hand on the screen while you were doing it.
Okay, 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 7, public hearing on resolution 2400, appeal to the demolition of 809 North Pennsylvania.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, on August, I apologize, on July 11th, 2023, y'all voted to pass Resolution 2400 for the abatement of substandard conditions at 809 North Pennsylvania, the demolition of the property. The city received a written petition requesting an appeal hearing and a chance to do something other than demolish the property. So I believe Mr. Rubidoux, who owns it, is here in the audience to give you his plan as to how he plans to fix it. City staff would ask, this property was marked as substandard back in 2017, and Mr. Rubidoux pulled a permit, and he did at that time put a roof on it. There were no inspections done at the time he put the roof on it. We don't know if it was done correctly, if it was finalized or anything. That roof, currently 6 years later, is part of the substandard reason. I mean, there's holes in it and stuff. But he is appealing to see if he can remedy the problem without demolishing the property. So we would ask that if you allow him to do that, that you as the commission set time standards, that if he doesn't have it done within a certain amount of time, that we go through with the demolition, because I can't see it lasting for years trying to revitalize this property. I would also ask that we require contractors, licensed contractors, to perform the work. That's all I have.
Sir, you want to address them, kind of give them your plan for,
Yeah, this is not my strongest suit. I've failed speech class 3 different times, so. My main issue was that, me and my ex-wife was on the deed, and she had signed it over, had it notarized back in 2015. And, after I came down to put the roof on there and pulled the permit, there was 2 different inspectors that came out and, oversaw and said that I could go to the next step, which is why there's shingles put on there. One of the guys' name was George. I asked him his last name. He said George, so I don't know if it's George or what. But anyway, after my ex-wife had seen the improvements put on it, she came back and got in a picture, and that's kind of where we stand right now. I had it sold back in 2020, and again, she found out how much I was getting out of it, so, she came back and, was disputing it. So it's sat ever since then. But my plan is to get it renovated, get it where it's city code, all the inspections required, within a reasonable time frame, I believe. I did go over there and secure the windows and get them secured pretty well. And I got a sister that still lives here, a brother-in-law and a nephew that they're willing to, and they was helping mow the yard over all these years. Like I said, until the ex-wife came back in the picture, and so it kind of just sat in limbo. But my plan, I could get the yard cleaned up within the next couple of weeks, definitely for sure. Make sure it's secure on the windows and the doors so nobody could get in there anymore. And the following months, probably 3 months, I have the exterior as well as the roof in excellent, good shape. And probably about another 3 or 4 months after that, I get the inside re-gutted. I'd originally, when I bought the place, completely re-gutted it. New wiring, new plumbing, sheetrock, insulation, everything. It took me 3 months on that period, and we was able to move into it. But my daughter was the last one to live in it before she moved to Oklahoma, down there with me. And so as far as the contractor and all that stuff, that's what I'm licensed to do in Oklahoma, and that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years down there until COVID hit. And the last 2 years have been pretty rough. But I went back and got in a union to get income coming in again until if my business picks up. But I'd got certified with Muskogee and Cherokee Nation to do contract work with them. I got the certificates here, and this is just current recently here this year. So that's my plans to get back into business myself. But between that time, my plan is to get down here if you're willing to okay it, to get it back into good shape by city code. So it's,
So at this time, your name is on the deed, or
Yeah.
both of you is on the deed, so any
Yes.
improvements you make are,
yeah,
and not that it's any of my business whether you guys are together or not together, but any improvements you made, if she's on the deed, would be available to her too, but,
yeah, and I got a lawyer working on finalizing that paperwork.
and that's really not our concern. So you haven't lived in the house and aren't intending to live in the house. You're repairing it to sell or rent.
Possibly, well, you definitely sell, if I
Yeah,
don't.
so it doesn't qualify for a homeowner's permit. So that's why, Keith, you would like a licensed contractor, and you're saying you're a contractor in Oklahoma?
Yes. But the other thing is that it was a fallback plan. It was a house that I would have an opportunity to move back over here and live in. So that's,
Yeah, and I don't think that, I mean, it's up to these guys and Keith, I guess, but I don't think that's something that we look at. Usually a homeowner's permit would be for somebody that is living in the house or it's definite they're going to be, and I don't see that as necessarily for sure thing. So if you can qualify for a building contractor's license, and I'm just saying this, I'm only one person that counts here, Keith actually counts the most, is that if you can get a contractor's license in Kansas from the city of Liberal, then I don't have a problem, if Keith doesn't have a problem
got it.
with you pulling the permits. But if you can't obtain a contractor's license that's sufficient for Keith, then you need to get a contractor to do the structural and that, and you still need to get licensed people to do the plumbing, heat and air, and electrical.
Understandable.
Is that how you feel? That's
So,
right?
I reviewed Mr. Rubidoux' certifications. He has a renovator license through Oklahoma, which doesn't provide for anything structural, so no general contractor work, the MEPs, and by Kansas state statute, the roofing either. Like,
Right.
Kansas statute requires special testing and special registration for anything load-bearing, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and roofing.
And I'm not aware currently, because I haven't had to think about it, I guess, but what qualifies you to take a contractor's test? You are supposed to have experience, right?
General contractor does not require any experience. Like,
So if you can pass the test, I don't even know what test is the one they take now, but whatever,
I believe he has enough now that he could probably get registered with the state of Kansas for a roofer's license. That would, but
so that would be that part of it. Either he qualifies to pull his own permit or have somebody pull a permit. It still needs licensed heat and air, electrical, and plumbing people.
yes.
And so are you, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but so are you okay with January 31st, that if we allow him to do this, that he has the dwelling sufficiently secured where you feel it's safe for the public, and then he'll move on to the next step, and for the completion of the thing, our permits usually last for a year, that he needs to be able to final the thing in a year, or extend it with sufficient progress. Does that sound fair or right to you, or?
As long as the property stays clean and the house stays secured, I know code enforcement has went back over twice since we started this process and found it re-broken into, and it's being a nuisance for partiers in the middle of the night. After talking with Mr. Rubidoux, my biggest issue is the detached garage, which the roof trusses are almost completely gone on. So, I asked him to come up with a plan on whether he was gonna repair the house and demolish the garage, or if he was gonna repair the garage too.
I believe what you're speaking of is that there was a shed there originally before that garage was there. It is, yeah, that was definitely coming down. But the trusses in the garage itself actually are good. I could take pictures and bring them down unless you want to go over and inspect it. But
If it's elected that it can be fixed, I mean, I don't have any problem. Every house is savable. It's just sometimes it costs more to repair it than it's worth.
What timeline of the steps that we need to take do you see if we decide to allow that? Licensing quickly, right? For permitting,
The cleaning up and
cleaning and securing,
he said 3 weeks. I think less than a month is probably good, as long as it gets secured fully. Licensing, if he's trying to take his general test, I have no problem with another month or two, as long as the property stays clean and secured and it's not a safety hazard. And then, once permits start getting pulled, a permit is good initially for 180 days, so 6 months. And there, if the work has started, you can apply for an extension of another 180 days, so.
now Lynn, can we do this with the contingent on that the progress meets the deadlines we set? Do we have to go through the process to condemn it again?
Well, what I would suggest you do is you don't take any formal action today. He's requested a hearing in front of you. By agreement of the parties, you guys move the hearing that is set for today to a later date with conditions that he performs X, Y, Z. Then when you come back, if Keith says, yeah, he's got that done, okay, what's the next step that we're looking at doing? And then
So-
set it for a subsequent date.
So let's say we don't do anything, would we do the hearing at a regular meeting?
Yeah, that's fine.
So we could say 4 weeks, or whenever the second meeting in November is? This is the second meeting of
Yep,
October, isn't it?
no, it's the 28th.
28.
Yeah,
So the 20th at 5:30. That's fine if that's what the majority of you
If we
want to do,
decide.
but you want to be clear with him, you know, what you expect to be done, and if it's just, you know, the shed that you said, if that's what Keith's saying that needs tore down, if that can be tore down and it can be secured and then everything around the property can be cleaned up? I mean, I think Keith, you said you'd be okay with a month's time to do that?
Yes, yes, that's doable.
Be secure and safe for the general public if somebody was,
And clean up the area around it. Do you think the shed or garage, if it's structural, has issues with the trusses? Like he said, that's something you can get taken care of as well in that period of time or not?
Yeah, no, the garage is secured.
Okay. Is there a shed there that has,
Yeah, it's pretty well rotted. So it was gonna come down at one point in the future, so.
is that something that you can also get taken care of before the next
Yeah,
time we meet?
within the 3 weeks, yes,
That sound okay, Keith?
or a month.
Yeah, and the deck is coming out?
Yes, yeah, that was
Okay.
being hauled out back in 2017, but things came up.
What was the demolition quote, do you remember?
What was the quote to demolish?
14.
14.
I'd much rather give him 90 days than spend 14 grand on a house we can save, that could be saved, so. I think if he makes the satisfactory progress and comes back, the second meeting in November, and he's made good faith efforts, that's
Just
preferable to us.
have the hearing and then set
Because
some
we can
timeline.
continue the hearing to the
Yeah.
January, this last meeting in January, that'll give him an extra 60 days after that.
As long as he's doing his part.
So are we still, you having a hearing in November then, is
Yeah,
what we're
I
saying?
think we have a hearing in
To see if
November.
we've reached the first
Yeah.
step, okay. And so we don't need to do any action on that today, we're just saying that that's what we want him, we'll set a hearing for that date, and
Yeah, is that
if
agreeable?
if
to
we're
you,
where
sir?
we're supposed to be, then we will extend, okay.
We can just set benchmarks and just
Right,
keep moving
yeah.
the thing.
Alicia, you can just have a consensus is made by the council to continue the hearing to that date, contingent upon, with those conditions in place. Is that everybody agreement? Just
Yeah. Good. That's good.
That's all right with Keith?
Okay. We have consensus.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. No action. Moving on to item number 8, Resolution 2406, authorizing Bank of the Plains as the additional banking service provider.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On this, we're looking to authorize Bank of the Plains to be able to bid whenever the city determines it has idle investment funds. Basically, what we do is we send out an authorized amount to all of the banks for a certificate of deposit for a predetermined time. Once those bids come back, we do compare to the state of Kansas municipal investment pool. And if the local rates, if one of them either meets or exceeds the municipal investment pool rate, then we will invest with that bank. Essentially, Bank of the Plains has been here for several months now, and I know they're trying to be competitive, and this resolution would actually authorize the city to be able to utilize them for banking services, including certificates of deposit, and, from time to time, if it's ever determined that we have a need for any different type of service with them, this would allow us to do business with them. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Resolution does grant authority to 4 individuals, city employees, who are able to transact business on behalf of the city. And the way that our accounts are set up, they're actually dual signature, so that, not one person has exclusive signature authority. It does require 2 signers.
Four people are me, Chris, Scarlett, and Alicia.
Oh, yes. And with that, staff would just request commission consideration of resolution number 2406 to authorize Bank of the Plains as an additional banking services provider.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2406 authorizing the Bank of Plains as an additional banking service provider.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Vice Mayor Parsons. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, cast your vote. Passes 5-0. Moving on to item number 9, recertification of Title VI for Liberal City Bus KDOT Grant 2025.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, we need to reclassify the Title VI for Louisville City Bus. Title VI is where the city bus will treat everybody fairly and equal in matters of transportation.
Sounds fair and equal to me.
Is this from Governor Finney?
Yes, I think so. I hope. She might have signed it.
I'll make a motion that we allow the recertification of Title IV for the Liberal City bus.
Title VI.
Huh?
Title VI.
Title VI, oh,
Yeah.
what did, oh,
Did I say four?
no. No, I got
Oh, okay.
my deals mixed up. I glanced at it and then looked up Title VI for the Liberal City bus program.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, cast your votes. Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 10, the final plat for Ortuño Edition.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, what's before you is the final plat, which was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 12th unanimously, for the Ortuño addition, which is the land just south of Big R Standard Supply, right there at Harold and Larrabee. Y'all had previously approved the preliminary plat. There have been very few changes to it. They did take some of our recommendations, and the one north-south street, they renamed it from McCray. They renamed it to Lincoln. It does fall in line with Lincoln, so they renamed it to Lincoln. The other north-south street, which they had as Pioneer, but it wasn't in line with Pioneer, and that was questioned, so they changed that street name to Senenche. They also changed the curve at the end of Senenche. It intersected at too much of an angle. It's supposed to intersect at 90 degrees, and it was not. It was too glancing. So they've fixed everything they've been asked to fix on it. This final plat has been checked by the County Register of Deeds, GIS, to make sure we got all the bugs worked out we can. So it's here before you for your approval.
So is the retention pond, will that be the responsibility of the developer right now? Is how that is done?
I believe
Or
it's
is
the
that a city?
responsibility of the developer to install.
Yeah, the only talks we've had with them were on the streets. I believe this was the 1.6 or 1.4, trying to remember. It's been months since we talked to them.
It was originally 1.2.
I don't recall the retention pond being part of the discussion, but it was the same type of agreement we made with Mr. Chance on Holly Ridge that, except there's no split. We get all of our money back first before.
Right, so I mean, which would be better for the investor if it was part of the investment, but the city would still get that part back if they did it with the infrastructure.
Correct.
And is there still at this point, floodplain issues to move forward with this?
Yes, the floodplain is marked on there on this plat because they have not got the property removed from the floodplain. I believe they're working on a CLOMA, which is a conditional letter of map amendment that says, hey, if we go in and take this much dirt out here and put this much dirt in here, we will be out of the floodplain, and FEMA says, okay, go for it. So, they're still moving forward with the floodplain issues, but they need the plat done and, get it separated up and then work on the RHID and,
Would that be for the entire property, or can that be certain pieces of property at a time?
I believe they're working on the entire property, but it can be certain
Yeah,
lots.
I know across the street several years ago, we had 2 lots that were covered in that, and they were removed separately. Where it came across the street and cut 2 lots, and they were raised and got a map revision or whatever, so it'd be a similar process.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this, my weak eyes allow me to do that. The zone AE, there's a boundary there between zone AE and zone X, which,
Zone X is non-floodplain.
okay,
Zone AE is floodplain.
okay. I mean, so the majority of this falls within the floodplain.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is why it
FEMA
wasn't
flood, it
developed.
could be, when it floods and hits base flood elevation, it could be 3 inches of water.
Right.
This is all R3, right?
Yes, it was rezoned to R3 with the preliminary plat.
And that is also something we were working on with that other group, to survey the whole community to look at the flood map, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat of the Ortuño addition.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Parsons and a second by Commissioner Lindbroker. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, cast your vote. 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 11, Communications Building discussion.
Okay, so Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, for at least 18 months, because that's how long I've been here, there's been discussions on moving EMS to a more secure location. They're currently housed in the sheriff building on the second floor, which leaves them pretty susceptible to high wind damage or tornadoes. The thought, which you guys pledged $340,000 of ARPA funds, was to move them into the EMS building. The EMS was gonna move, and it was gonna be a chain reaction. Well, that chain reaction never happened. The county subsequently went and bid a full concrete building, which came in at $1 million cost just for the building. That's not counting the movement of the equipment. So we took a look at some of our facilities. We looked at the old water plant, and we looked out here. The old water plant was suitable in size, but structurally questionable. So we require some significant improvements and upgrades. We have pods here that there's no plan to use as of now. This building is a fortress. I mean, there's 2.5 feet of reinforced concrete, stressed, am I saying that right? Stressed concrete, above us. So the building was designed by an architect from California, to be earthquake proof. The concrete makes it almost tornado proof. We already own it. It's not on the tax roll. It's gonna save the Seward County taxpayers probably close to $1 million if we just use our facilities. The Emergency Communication Board met, voted unanimously to proceed to move into this facility. Because of the MOU that was signed in 1989, it really takes authority away from the commissions, aside from funding. So, we really don't need permission to move them here. We just need money to move them here, which is where you come in. If you say, no, it's a bad idea to move them here, we're not gonna give you any money, then it dies on the vine. But the mayor and the vice mayor walked with me through the initial walkthrough here. We subsequently found different pods that were more desirable for the design, and the mayor and I walked through that with a few members of the Emergency Communications Board. So Earl's Engineering is getting cost estimates. Southwest Glass was here today to do measurements and to get estimates for the doors. We'll get INA to give us a quote on the security that we need. It's not much, it's just a few access control points. The overall renovation of the 3 pods is gonna be pretty minimal. We've gotta cut a hole in the wall to adjoin 2 of the pods, and we need to tear out the men and women's bathrooms, which are about the size of that podium, and form one ADA compliant bathroom. So the overall cost would be pretty slim. Now, we will need to redo the MOU. Currently, the agreement is the city pays 60% of the expenses, the county pays 40%, except for the tower and something else. It's really a budgetary accounting nightmare for everybody except Chris, because he's the only one who understands it. There are some negotiations that we can go into in the MOU, but Pam or Barkley or Chad, if any of y'all want to say anything on the topic of the movement.
Commissioners, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I was one of the ones that did tour both locations, and I do understand that, you know, there were some issues with the county moving forward with their building. I don't know anything about that. I don't know the background of the history. I know that what I saw was a phenomenal opportunity for an immediate impact on the dispatch center, and I am not speaking for them. I have not spoken to them. But I saw an immediate opportunity for an impact on them to be able to move to a facility that's going to meet their needs. It's going to meet the needs of for the future as well. And as you know, luck would have it, I was speaking to a group yesterday that specifically asked about a police substation down here at this building. And so I don't know if rumors are getting out or how this is going, but I explained to them that we have no plans for, you know, a police substation, but that there is a possibility of looking at moving, you know, another agency down here. So I think it looked very favorable to me, and I would be strongly supportive of it. And on behalf of the police department, we'd be supportive of it. And I will take questions if anyone has anything for me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would assume we'd need to, you know, work out the details as far as, you know, the sharing of the renovation costs plus operation costs and stuff before we give the final stamp of approval.
We can. In a perfect world, I'd like for you to tell me, yes, we want to do this, and we will pay up to $200,000 for renovation and movement to be funded from ARPA, in which there's $370,000 in that fund right now that we have not been allocated. That would be the perfect solution. So the county, when they either call their special meeting or have their first meeting, they've got a dollar figure that we're willing to spend and a firm commitment from us.
So are you saying that the 200 would be our 60%?
Well, that would be,
Or that'll be
I think.
or will they reimburse
No, so,
80,000?
well, there's a lot of stuff to be negotiated in
Right.
that.
Short resolution.
So, I mean, are
Yeah,
you saying that?
there's things I don't want to say out loud.
I
just
got
yet.
you.
But I think that the renovation, including the movement of the movement of the equipment was $96,000. We need a 50K generator, which we would price out, which we're estimating is about $50,000. The interior renovations are not gonna be exorbitant, because it's just, 6 doors and some keypads. And, the 88 bathroom is the biggest expense. But I don't know what the movement of the tower is gonna cost, and then tying tying into the fiber, which has to be AT&T fiber. We don't get a choice on that. But I believe that it can be done for less than 400,000. And if you give,
So that's what you're saying, 200, is what,
Yeah.
okay.
I think if you give Steve and I 400 grand, we can get it done and get it done quickly and at a high level, but, it's really your decision on whether or not you wanna make a financial pledge at this point, or if you wanna just have a consensus, yes, we'll move forward and negotiate, with the county first.
I have a question that's not related, but kind of.
Okay.
Because you said you need a 50K generator.
That was, can't remember if that was Ralston or if that was.
So my question though is the one that's on the lift station on Tucker Road, is that ours or the school's? That generator? I was informed that just something that you might look into, Brad, is I've heard that that's a 50K and that lift station only requires 3. That may be an oversized generator on that location, but just something to look at.
Remove that one.
Right, well, I'm just saying if they're 50,000 to 3, something, just something to, you know, I mean, if it saved the taxpayers money and that thing was oversized, I don't know if it is or not, that may just be a misunderstanding, but I was told that somebody that knows about electrical service though, so.
That would be quite advantageous if we could
Well,
just move it over.
well, that's what I'm saying, so I mean, if, the other generator would be smaller.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I don't know who spec'd the generator that was up there, I'm guessing Earl's, but, okay, but something to look at,
Yeah, that would definitely take
Yeah.
a big chunk out of the money, but
And so this time you want to just look at the 200,000 and not the full 370 we have set aside?
correct. So the 370 was kind of earmarked for Hackberry and for Epic Touches grant that didn't get funded. The Hackberry edition is probably not happening anytime soon. If it does, we can pull that 300 from the housing fund like we did the 400,000 for Holly Ridge. So we have sufficient flexibility in our ARPA funds to fund this through there. And the county may come back and say, absolutely not, we're not doing this, back to the drawing board. But at least we have done our part to save the taxpayers as much money as possible and get our employees into a secure, safe location. And,
so are you looking for a consensus, or would that take a motion if we were gonna say that we're
if
gonna
you're gonna
commit?
give me 200 grand, I'd need a motion.
And it doesn't matter, that's a discussion item, we can still
Yeah.
take action because it's on the agenda.
Yeah, you're fine. You can make a motion to approve up to 200,000 of ARPA funds to be designated for this purpose of relocating emergency communications to the rec center. Of course, it's contingent upon Seward County agreeing to it.
Make that motion.
So moved.
Yeah.
So are we saying up to 200?
So second.
Not to exceed 200?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Lindenbroker and a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? Any discussion from the public?
Good evening. Just, on the 50K, is that gonna be running this whole building?
No, it only runs the emergency operation.
So it'll be, the emergency will have its own separate service, basically, so it's all separate.
Correct.
Okay, I was just thinking about what it takes to run my shop, and I was thinking that, I've never been in the emergency management center or anything, but I know like my shop, I was quoted, I think it was a 24K generator just to run my shop on a full-time basis with the welders and everything.
And that came from the emergency manager, Greg Standard, that we required a 50K.
Okay,
So,
I was
yeah.
just questioning it for the size, and the bigger you get, the more expensive it gets.
It's really only running one room, the dispatch room. The preponderance of the power requirement is concentrated in one room. So if Pam has to light a candle in her office and the break room, you gotta use flashlight on your phone, that's not a big deal. In the storage and equipment room, is not nearly as big a deal as that one room that it would really be dedicated.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. That part I understand. I was just trying to get an idea of the size of the generator and what it's gonna be running. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, cast your votes.
Did you get something?
Yeah.
I didn't ever get anything. I mean, yes. Unless my computer's voting for me.
I know, I feel like that's, because he's, I'm sitting as soon as.
5-0, motion passes. Okay, moving on to item number 12, city staff.
I haven't brought this up yet, but if you can start looking at your calendars for the year end, I know we're scheduled on December 26th, and it'll also depend on year-end items, but just something to start looking at, so that'll be here soon for December, the last meeting in December.
Okay. Any further? Moving on to item number 13, city manager's report.
So, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, we talked with Wichita State again today. They're gonna have the final contract for the comprehensive plan or community action plan to me next week for signature. We would like to conduct a town hall meeting with them, present November 15th, that's a Wednesday, in the evening. So if you are okay with that, we can get that to them. They had the 13th and the 15th, and I'm pretty sure the 13th is a county commission meeting, so we don't want to double up on that. But I think it would be a great opportunity for the community to hear firsthand what the comprehensive plan is going to entail and the process. So, and then Keely drew up a list of accomplishments that the city's made in the last quarter, and it was kind of shocking how much stuff we've actually gotten done. I know that we look at it every day, all day, and it seems like everything's a snail pace, but when you look at things that actually have gotten done, it's kind of impressive. We had a meeting today with Watkins Public Strategies, our lobbying firm, and we agreed that we were gonna develop a template for a letter of support and send it to the communities along the 54 corridor, and then have a virtual gathering of these cities to kind of explain the goals and the impacts that we're hoping to achieve by getting the 4-lane from the state line all the way to Sedgwick County. And we discussed several things, but the only other thing is they want to be very involved with Pancake Day and managing that so that we have more effective meetings with the individuals we need to talk to when we go up on that day. So, some good things. We also, before it slips away from us, have to pick a date for the employee breakfast, Christmas breakfast. We have the KACM convention and CPM graduation the first part of December, so it needs to be this second or third week. But anyway, so just kind of check your calendars. If you have dates you're unavailable, you could let Alicia know, that'd be helpful. That is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 14, items from commissioners. Start with you.
Start with me? All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to say thanks to all the staff. Also, the weather's changing here coming up this weekend, so everybody kind of maybe prepare for some white flaky stuff coming down. Hopefully, we could use some moisture, some rain would be nice. And the other night, I actually talked about communications. Had to use the 911 service because somebody threw a bottle at us on Main Street. That was the smoothest 911 operator call I have ever had. It was quick. I was on my phone driving down the car. So, A+ there. That's all I got.
Thanks to city staff, appreciate your hard work, as always. I just wonder if we could maybe next meeting or on a semi-regular basis, get an update from Development Corp. We don't really ever hear from them.
And that's my fault. The thing that they give us,
Yeah.
I am supposed to put that in your packets.
Okay.
Cause he asked me if I wanted him to come, cause he goes to the county. I said, if you'll give me for those of you who don't know, he gives us board reports and kind of outlines everything that each segment of the SCDC is doing. And I've completely spaced on putting it in your packets like I was supposed to. So that's my fault.
Okay.
We can definitely have a quarterly report that gets you the monthly.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be good.
Yeah, just so we,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want specifics, but, you know, kind of what their activity's been and that kind of thing, so, I mean, would be good. That's all I have.
Okay.
I also want to thank staff for everything they're doing, and I wondered, is anybody okay with me walking down there and slapping Chris, because I really don't need any rain or snow. But anyway, it is gonna be cold, I guess, let's say 21 Sunday night.
Sunday.
So I'm not looking forward to that. I did order 24 more concrete blankets today, though, so I guess we'll get ready for it, but, I hope you're wrong about white stuff, though. That's all I got.
I also want to say thank you to all of the staff for all of their hard work. And I especially want to say thank you to the police department for their Trail of Terror. They did a really good job there. And then also to the Liberal Recreation Department for their trunk or treat event last night. It was really, really busy. We estimated anywhere from 2,300 to 2,500 kids. We started at 6. They said the event was going to end about 8 o'clock. Well, by the time 8 o'clock hit, we still had kids wrapped up all along the line. And so do want to say thank you to the organizations, to the departments that really help out, because I really do think it improves the quality of life for many families out here. All of these community events really give us families something to do in this community. And so I do also give recognition. And your hard work does not go unnoticed, and it's very well appreciated.
No, just continuing, thank you to all the city staff, and then thank you to the county staff too. Everyone on the Emergency Communications Board, we've been working hand in hand with them, and we'll just put this on the county's lap now to make sure we can move forward with this. It's a good idea, good process. I've said from the beginning, and it did take 2 storms to realize. I mean, you'll live here, you'll grow up around here and think things are fine, but then you find out the history about different departments, and then you find out your communications is on the 2nd floor of a with tin walls. So I'm just very happy with the work that Rusty has done, with all the ideas we can put forward, and then with the work that's been done with the Emergency Communications Board. So thank you to everyone who's been working on this, and then thank you to the staff for everything else you've been doing. So that's it from me. We'll move on to item number 15, the vouchers.
So I guess we need to ratify, we need to do 2 motions, right?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the 10/10, 2023 vouchers in the amount of $710,718.91.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Lindbroker. Any further discussion? Seeing none, cast your vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item B.
Still voted yes, huh?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers for 10/24/23 of the amount of $1,818,338.43.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lindbroker and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? Seeing none, cast your vote.
Probably just too long and long.
Must have just put
At
yes,
this point.
everything. Did you put me in last time, or did it do it, show that I did it?
I don't have you in.
I don't have it either.
Do you want me to read?
I didn't put it in last time either, and it showed I voted yes. Am I an automatic yes?
I'm
I'm
gonna
voting for
reset
you,
the
Ron.
vote. So I'm gonna reset the vote, so you all have to re-vote, okay?
Let's see if I get it.
Okay, let's see. Did you get it?
No,
Nope.
I'm a yes if you wanna put me in. Then I was gonna look and see,
Okay, in that case, all in favor? 5-0, motion passes. All right, we are adjourned.
somehow I got back to the agenda meeting, I think, and I had to rejoin the meeting, I guess, and I
So after you